I recall a group almost 10 years ago where that guy was a relatively new player to our group, and we'd agreed the game was going to be about mid to high fantasy D&D heroics. So he shows up with this drunken old man lout of a fighter. Meanwhile, we're all playing young kinda weeaboo anime hero types. We tolerated him and how often he'd talk about how drunk, smelly, and generally obnoxious his character was. He would use metagame knowledge to make fun of our characters in character, laughing at us when we'd get knocked out, calling us cowards when we failed our fear checks, and the DM would take pity on us and just kind of give us let it slide looks and let us take rerolls. We'd bitch about it between sessions, and we sort of grew to hate the guy as a player. His character would go into long diatribes about dungeons and gold and how useless we were, and we'd get into hour-long arguments where the DM would constantly have to remind us all to keep it in character. Anyway, the campaign goes on for at least a year, and the storyline is kinda climaxing, and a DM PC gets kidnapped. So, after another argument session, we get convinced by that guy to go on a suicide mission to storm the castle. And he's basically yelling at us IRL, we have to do it. So when we agree, he leaves the room with the DM for a few minutes. And we assume this is all some meta plot, how he's gonna fuck us over and steal our shit. They come back in as if nothing had happened. Session continues, but we're all on guard, assuming something is up. We storm the castle or whatever, and have a lot of fun, not really noticing that this guy has stopped being so obnoxious. He hasn't once mentioned how his character reeks of whiskey or onions or whatever, though he wastes a good 5 minutes explaining how his character shaved his beard. Whatever. We just assumed the DM talked to him about how it was annoying us. Epic battles ensue, and fast forward to our face-off with the big bad evil guy, some lich thing, and the fight isn't going so well. We are getting spanked. Our cleric is down, and Mr. Fighter has a haste, and out of nowhere he goes, I rush to Cedric, the cleric, and slap him, saying, "Get up, you coward!" At this point, I groan, but the DM is like, Cedric, you're back up with X amount of HP. And then Mr. Fighter goes, I turn to the lich and I smite him. And suddenly it clicked for all of us. Fucker had been playing a paladin the entire time. His insults were his lay on hands, and calling us out as cowards were his anti-fear aura. He wasn't that guy, we were that guy, and we'd just been absolutely out-roleplayed for almost a year.